All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. Let me record this just in case we spit a jewel and end up with a masterpiece. Report to the cloud.
Recording in
All
progress.
right, we in business. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Kevin Latmore calling you tonight from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. We are snowed in, but it's okay. We're going to be all warmed up and have some fun here with you guys. Let me throw on my camera to make it a little bit more entertaining for y'all. But we're going to talk today about two companies, really. We're primarily focused on a company called IX Global. You can see their name right here at the top. And they are powered by something called Debtbox. So we'll be talking about two companies. Really, we're focused on IX Global, which is the marketing company, which most of you are part of or soon to be part of, hopefully, if you like what you hear. And we have partnered and we have the exclusive worldwide rights to marketing and sales of a company called Debtbox. Both companies are out of Salt Lake City. Both companies are doing exceptionally well, breaking a lot of records, just blowing and going. And Debtbox stands for decentralized, eco-friendly blockchain technology. You're going to hear the catchphrase a little often, where crypto meets commodities, which is so cool because I'm a strong believer in crypto. Been in the game since 2017. Bought my first 3 Bitcoins for $700 each. So not like the super nerds that got it for 10 cents. But hey, $100 before it really, or 700, really was before it kind of really went mainstream and had a pop. And really been enjoying my time with crypto, learning about it. And I coined the phrase, not that it needs to be coined, but the way I describe it to people that don't understand is it's the deregulation of money. You know, I've been part of the deregulation of telecom. I have a good friend on here who I see that was also part of that. It was great. And I've seen the deregulation of energy and so on and so forth. And some of you, some people might not believe totally in crypto just yet, but it is coming. It's coming fast. I remember, I'm old enough. I'm just turned 51. But I remember when credit cards came out. It was in the 80s, I believe. And nobody used them for anything. Emergencies, or your car transmission blew up and you needed it to get to work. So you had to come up with $1,800 that you didn't have. Or for Christmas presents, major important emergencies or Christmas presents that were expensive was pretty much the only time you ever touched your credit card. And look at it today. Today you don't have to swipe them. You tap and go and this and that, and we use them on the internet. And you know, it's just become a big thing. I don't carry cash hardly ever anymore. The same thing's starting to happen with crypto, and like it or not, it's going to be here in a big way before the turn of this decade. So within the next 7 years, the mass adoption is about to start. So without any further ado, let me hit this disclaimer because, hey, I've been around the block a few times. I have been in this industry now for 18 years. Used to be a manager at Costco. Was a great living, was a great job, but again, at the end of the day, it was just a job. Maybe sort of a career, but whatever. And but I have 5 kids and a wife. That's a family of 7. It's hard to exist comfortably on a Costco income. So I started working part-time with that telecom deregulation company. And sure enough, through some good fortune, but mostly hard work and a great work ethic and putting other people first and helping others succeed, I was able to match my Costco income in under 6 months. And then I did the craziest thing and the most ingenious thing. I took a leap of faith and I walked away from Costco 6 months into my career. And the rest is kind of history. You're talking well over $1 billion sales, well over 500,000 people on the team, 65 countries I have a footprint in. And, you know, it's just been a heck of a living. So without any further ado, I'm not scared of any big numbers, but I'm going to share some big numbers with you guys. So I want to be ethical and just do the right thing and counterbalance that with a disclaimer, right? I don't want to paint any pie in the sky for anybody. You guys can figure out, you know, what's going on here, but you know, I'm not going to lie to you about anything, but just please know I'm not a financial advisor by any choice. So do your due diligence. None of the information provided herein is an investment, tax, accounting, or legal advice, as an offer, solicitation of any offer to buy or sell, any endorsement of any company, security, fund, or other offering. The information should not be relied upon for purposes of transacting securities or other investments. It might seem similar to some of that stuff, but we actually shy away from terminology like investment or return on investment and whatnot. What we're doing at the end of the day is selling software, access to software. That software happens to mint tokens, and you can get a tremendous reward from that. But I love the fact that that's all that we're doing, and we passed a lot of scrutiny even to get to this point, and we just wanted to be on the up and up at all points and have things like this. IX does not promise or guarantee any income in particular result from the use of our information contained herein. Under no circumstances will IX be liable for any loss or damage caused by reliance on the information contained herein. And last but not least, and probably most importantly to understand, is past performance is not a guarantee of or indicative of any future results. Meaning we've made a lot of money for a lot of people up until this point. It would, could, and should continue, but nobody's guaranteeing that that's the case. All right, so with all the unpleasantries out of the way, let's get this puppy going. One good thing I love about this company, especially in this world of fast-paced internet companies, right? We join these things on the internet, we join social media, new technologies, and download apps all over the internet, and we rarely ever know who's behind these operations. Well, rest assured, we got a good one here for you, because Joe Martinez is someone that I've known for over 14 years, and he is the CEO and founder of this company, a fantastic individual, very family-centric, very results-oriented, and he just takes care of people, right? People first, his company second. Paul Barlow I've also known for about an equal amount of time, 12 to 14 years, so that's amazing. Some of these other people I've just been getting to meet recently. I do know Mitzi, who just recently came on board for maybe like 8 or 9 years or so. Just bumped into her a few times at various locations, especially when I'm going through the Salt Lake City, Utah area. And last but not least, I also know the master distributor, Mr. Brian Robert. And I've known him for about 14, 15 years as well. A very successful gentleman, made well over $10 million plus. So we're in good company. Hopefully you've been cheating a little bit and reading some of these little articles and headlines that we have off to the side. We've done some amazing things, and we'll get into that as we go. Most importantly, let's look at the timeline here. All right, so we started in May of 2020. You can see we generated $4.6 million in the 7 months left in 2020. Not a bad start. And don't forget, May of 2020 is like maybe 3-4 months into the pandemic. So everyone's staying home, everyone's confused and so on, and they still banged out a brand new company that almost did $5 million from scratch. Fast forward to 2021. You are looking, folks, at $22 million for that year. That's about a 5 times, almost a 5 times, 500% growth. When everyone was calling a down economy, when everyone was calling doom and gloom and companies were going out of business, these guys grew 500%. And as if that wasn't enough, I can't even do it. This gets 1,000% maybe, yeah. In 2022, that just ended, right, a month ago, we did $206 million. And the craziest thing last week happened when I got introduced by a friend of mine on this call, and he's like, and last week we did $200 million. And then I came out, I'm like, thanks for the introduction. I'm like, excuse my partner. He said that last week we did $200 million, but what he meant to say was, and I'm like, oh my goodness. We just launched 2 new products on the 14th of January, and they have collectively done $200 million. So here we are high-fiving, backslapping, the talk of the town, getting all kinds of industry accolades all over the place for our tremendous growth of last year. And we've done that all in the first 2-3 weeks of January. So one's called Bev, one's called Blocks. You'll see those later on in the presentation. That's called foreshadowing. So stay tuned, folks. We'll touch on that a little bit later. But yeah, $200 million a week ago. Crazy stuff. And I'm very excited to share this opportunity with you. That's why we're all talking crazy, talking fast, foaming at the mouth, right? You guys know what this means. All the big boys and girls, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Apple, down, Amazon, Netflix has had its first down year all of a sudden. Just everything's in the toilet, unfortunately. Industries are in the toilet, unfortunately, right? And everything's just kind of going backwards and restructuring and trying to deal with this whole inflation thing. But there is one shiny beacon, a beacon of hope that's out there. It's called IX. No. So the purchasing power, right? So this is the dollar over time. Of course, when the dollar first came out, a dollar got you a dollar, right? A dollar's worth of goods, a dollar's worth of power and spending power. But over time, and this is a great amount of time, of course, but this is never expected to happen. Why is a dollar no longer worth a dollar? Yes, things get more expensive, but the value of the dollar didn't grow in the same fashion, right? That's what's important to understand. And that's because they print too much of it and they make too much of it. And they come up with excuses to go back to the drawing board and just come up with more of it without putting the backing. Dollars used to be backed by gold. Now it's just backed by IOUs and promises and, ain't nobody got time for that, right? It's just backed by nonsense. and they just bail themselves out and bail themselves out and spend and print more. The funny thing I think about this, maybe nobody else finds it so funny, and actually, maybe I should say ironic, not funny, is this very poor representation here only goes to 2020. We just hit 2023. Is this thing subterranean right now? Can you go below a graph? I'm not sure. What's less than zero? Because we're flirting with it, right? But anyways, I digress. This is Debtbox, right? These are some of the first four founders of Debtbox. Some really cool guys. We have some podcasts where each of these guys has a 1 hour kind of get to know me, what's going on behind the scenes, the company and the growth as they see it, and they all have very different perspectives, and they are all very, very captivating. As a matter of fact, the one last week with Roy talking about like, how much it is to do certain things in the oil game, like, it's $300,000 just to move the drill over like 50 feet. Like if you wanted to drill here and then now you want to drill there, it's 300,000 just to move it over, not to do anything else, just to get it there, not to drill over there, just to put it over there. So you can imagine the great, great expanse. You're going to find out why I share even a number like that with you based on what we can do. It's crazy. But these are the guys from Debt. One cool thing happened. My first Zoom that I had Jason and Jake come onto my call, and one of my good friends, when everyone turned their camera on, he said, "Hey, Jason, Jake, what are you guys doing here?" And they're like, "Darren, is that you?" And it turns out that these guys have known each other very, very well, because I asked Darren, I go, "How'd you know my guests on the call?" And he's like, "Oh, these guys are just like, some top flight business people in Salt Lake City. Everything they touch turns to gold. They have a really, really tremendous resume. Everything from being venture capitalists to backing major real estate projects to running a very successful multiple $100 million hedge fund." And Darren's been part of or invested in some of these things, and he said he's always done well. So I was already in at that point, but what a glowing endorsement. So that really, really helped me. So these are guys that are from Debt. So what we are doing here, and why you guys were called onto this call, primarily, there's a few different reasons, but primarily is because we sell nodes, right? We sell software nodes. And like people are like, nodes, what's going on? What's that all about? And it's a little complex to kind of break down to people, but the good news is you don't have to fully understand it. If you like the sentiment, if you like where it takes you, if I say owning a node does XYZ for you, and you want XYZ in your life, which is typically money basically, and growth of said monies, then you're gonna like it. But really quick, I'll just read the definition here. A node is a piece of software that connects to other nodes in the blockchain to create a network. You're like, I still don't know what a node is, right? And the best example I can use for you guys is Bitcoin. And you also don't understand how Bitcoin works, but I'm going to tell you, and at least you have the point of reference, because you know what Bitcoin is to some degree. What you're looking at here is a mining facility, right? All these computers you see lined up are miners. It's kind of funny. They play off the actual like picks and shovels mining kind of philosophy. And what this is doing is creating Bitcoin. So every Bitcoin that's ever been produced in the world has been given to somebody for free, because all over the world there's millions, probably now tens of millions of people that run this Bitcoin software 24/7. I guess they usually do, right? They can turn it off, but it doesn't make sense. You want it running as efficiently and often as possible. And it runs 24/7, and it does a lot of computing for you and for the network, right? Because Bitcoin doesn't have any office. Bitcoin doesn't have any owners. Nobody even knows what country Bitcoin's from, because it's not even from any one country. It's the network. It's the tens of millions of people all plugging in their computer to the same mainframe or virtual cloud or whatever you want to call it, and they run it. And when Bitcoin started, if you were running the software, they would pay you because you're using your electricity, your computer, right? It's creating noise and heat in your house, and you get a free Bitcoin every 10 minutes. And now you buy it from friends, or you buy it from Coinbase, or you buy it from Binance, but all of these originally originated for free to somebody. And it's such a big business that this is what it looks like for some people. They're like, look, if I can make one Bitcoin every 10 minutes for a computer, what would happen if I had 1,000 computers? Well, you'd get 1,000 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. What would happen if I had 100,000 computers? Well, you get 100,000, and so on and so forth. Some of these places, they have power bills of over $2 million a month. So you know they're making money, right? And you don't want to get into anything like this. This is for super nerds and techie geeks. Look at this forklift about to put in even more and more. Look, they're building more and more. These are all like, this is like 30, 40,000 computers in here. The same thing's happening with IX and with Depbox. The nodes that we have, the nodes that we sell, but all you do instead of buying all that equipment, which by the way, the greatest expense next to the power is every 2 years, they come up with better, more efficient models. And you would try to stay with the old ones, but the problem is the new ones are more efficient, so they create Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever kind of software you're running more quickly. So you just lost that investment of $8,000 to $10,000. Well, IX and Depbox are going to take care of all of that for us. All we do is two things. We either rent nodes, right, for $250 for 60 days at a time, or we buy nodes and they start at $1,000, and the highest one we've ever had has been $6,000. So 1 to 6, and they go up in increments as the sales continue to rise. You will get a serial number, an ID number, right? So you'll get XJ9117, and that is actually attributed to one of these computers down here, right? This is not our data center, but one of these computers is XJ9117. And every time that's running and every token that it produces gets paid to you to perpetuity, forever. That's what they're called, perpetuals. They guarantee us 11 years, but every single person I've talked to has said, 11 years is the minimum. We think these will go on forever, right? But you can't legally say it's forever or you're for life. What if you live to 200 years for some reason? The company only goes 87. Just weird stuff like that. So they guarantee us 4,000 days, which is 11 years, and it's going to go a lot longer than that. So you probably still don't really know what a node is, but you're kind of getting the idea. When you purchase these licenses to the nodes that they're running at their main office, right? It's giving you tokens on a certain interval. Some of them are like, there's a brand new one called Blocks. I just happen to know because it just launched last week. That's doing 4,700 tokens a day, every 24 hours. So who knows? Right now it's worth like, I don't even remember if someone knows, please put it in the chat. But let's just say it's worth a penny. So I'm getting 4,700 pennies a day. Now, if that goes to $1 at some point, retroactively, if I don't spend or lose all those tokens, that's where their value comes in. So we'll touch on that in a little while. So let's take it a step further. Here are the 3 steps that you have to do in order to participate, right? Step 1, purchase a mining license. We touched on that, so we'll burn right through. You purchase a mining license and you get it activated. Step 2, you earn rewards daily through the mining process. The cool part is 99% of your involvement is just the purchase of the license. After that, most of the process is automated and instantaneously, usually within about 24 hours or so, because it starts at 6 p.m. Utah time, right? Mountain Standard Time to 6 p.m. the next day. So they work on 24-hour cycles. You just start getting tokens and tokens and tokens. They go in a wallet that they give you free of charge. And then your only other thing to do beyond that is figure out when you want to spend or redeem them. Or maybe you want to hang on to them for 6 months or a year and a half, 2 years, whatever, right? Don't forget, Bitcoin started at 3 cents and right now it's worth $23,000. Imagine you just got like even 60 days worth of a Bitcoin node back then, because that's how long our rentals are. For those that can't afford a license, which is $1,000 to $6,000, could one of the hosts please close down the hot mic? Then you're going to have a situation where you have, all that money for your own discretion if you wait long enough for it to appreciate. So the tokenomics, which quite simply is just the economics of tokens. Pretty straightforward. Don't be intimidated. It's a supply and demand situation that we're going to cover. How are we different, right? Because you heard of a lot of people we heard of people making money with crypto, but we also heard of a lot of people losing money with crypto. And we're going to show you how we're different than what's mostly the way a lot of other companies run. And I think you can glean some security from the fact that we're, number one, backed by, commodities and whatnot. The underlying projects, we're going to delve into that deeply here in the next few minutes. Royalty, it's a world you're going to learn to love. Very, very cool. And burns. Here's kind of some of the tokenomics, a little bit nerdy, but let's take a quick peek. Every time you buy or sell our tokens, right? This has to, how is this going to sustain itself? Well, there's a 10% tax. It's just an internal tax. It's automated, right? So if you have $1,000 worth of, let's say, BGLD, which is our oil token, black gold, right? And you sell that $10,000, the robot that runs the token part of the company, right? It's just a software, will take 10% of that. What does it do with it? Well, 2% of it gets burned. That means destroyed. Imagine, Uncle Sam in the US started taking away 10% of all the money that's out there. This would bring inflation down, by the way, folks. But Uncle Sam does not want to do that. Yes, they do destroy money only when it gets old and tattered, but they're always replacing it. Imagine they only ever burned it. Imagine there was just $1,000 bills left in the history of the United States. How much would each $100 bill be worth? Lots. So 2% gets burnt, which is destroyed. Less tokens in the world means the people that have tokens are worth more. Supply and demand. Some go into what's called the EGI wallet, and some has gone to the liquidity pools. This is to companies like Binance or Coinbase or whoever. We give them some of the extra tokens, right, automatically from our robot. So that's places you can go buy, sell, and trade your tokens to get it into money somehow, some way, which is a great thing. Here's our main token. To me, it's cut off because of the way Zoom is set up. At the top here, I can't see it, but this is our debt token. And it started at 1 cent just a little over a year ago and was recently as high as $40. Just like a week ago, it was from 1 penny to $40. Insane. You can just imagine people making a lot of money off something like that. By the way, it looks kind of like this. Well, that's our representation. Tokens are just numbers and stuff like that, actually. But this is how we graphically introduce it to you, this green kind of one. It's listed on a bunch of exchanges, including PancakeSwap, PancakeSwap probably does at least $1 billion a day in transactions, so it's pretty big. And soon to be listed on Binance. We're working on that feverishly, and we hope to have that in the next 30 to 90 days at most. One of the reasons we have to have a disclaimer is so people like me don't oversell this fact, but you guys can Google this. Typically, most of the time, kind of, sort of, usually, on average, when brand new tokens get listed on Binance, they have an appreciation that usually doesn't even come down. It's because it's the biggest exchange in the world, right? And the appreciation is usually anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000%. That's why some of us, you do what you like to do. That's why they say, I'm not a financial advisor. That's why they want to, I have to read that whole thing because I don't want to oversell you. But that's why some of us are just gobbling up as many tokens as we can. We're buying nodes, we're buying licenses, we're buying rentals. And we're just like, we're like the node version of the Cookie Monster right now. Because when this happens, and over time, just the health of the project, we don't even need this to happen to be very, very healthy, in my opinion. But get that big pop. That's really cool. So we have a bunch of projects, and this is where it starts to get really interesting if it wasn't already. We have a bunch of projects, and our most important one, I say, is the oil one, right? That's the one that's just so visual to people. If you have oil in your family, you're doing something right. Oil money is like forever money. People with oil contracts and stuff, oil on their property, are usually very, very well off. But anyways, we have something called Explorer, right? That's one of our projects. So that's the call sign, XPLR. And that's because we have satellites in space. For the first year, we were doing a partnership with Google. The same Google satellite that gives you directions to your friend's house, your favorite restaurant, so on and so forth. We were renting that for $90,000 for certain increments of time to scan anywhere from 1 to 10 square kilometers, I believe. Right? And for doing so, we paid $90,000, which was a steal, by the way. Recently, just in the last 30 days or so, we found out about a partnership that we knew was brewing with an aerospace company that creates satellites. And through partnership with them, we now have 4 of our own co-branded satellites in space with this company. And it's accelerated all the things that we've done. And as a matter of fact, we're launching 2 more. And I couldn't say launching without mentioning the fact that we're launching them on SpaceX, the same SpaceX as Elon Musk, right? Falcon 9 rockets. You might have heard, yes, he's famous for Tesla and PayPal, but a lot of people, most people know, but not as popular as those, is the fact that he has a SpaceX project right now that's sending rockets to space, and he's launched a couple satellites for us. Not him personally, of course, but you got to drop a name like that when you can drop a name like that. So we've been featured in Forbes and all these other things. As a matter of fact, Depbox by themselves have been featured in Forbes just this week that's passed. So that article is going around. So ask for a link from the person that invited you here. We're starting to get known. TikTok. This thing was a secret. It's still a secret, but that secret's starting to come out real fast. You sell $200 million of anything in this world in a week, you start to get you get on the radar pretty fast. So I digress. But what I wanted to mention about the satellite, what it does is we run a proprietary software on this satellite. The exact same thing we were doing with Google Earth satellite, but it was our software that was key. And basically, you give it some geographical coordinates, and it does a scan of the Earth, of where you told it to scan. How does the scan work? In layman's terms, oversimplification, it's doing almost like an X-ray, an ultrasound, or more relevant, an MRI of that area. And it can tell you and identify large bodies of liquid, which I can't think of too many, but I can think of water. Very important to find water that nobody knew existed somewhere, right? Underground water in huge abundance, and oils and other liquids. So it can find those two things very, very easily. The other thing it can do is find all kinds of precious minerals and stones, and of course, any elements on the periodical table. So I bet you didn't plan on going back to grade 9 chemistry today, but copper, zinc, aluminum, iron, all these things it can identify with great ease. So it's a cool little situation. And they're low orbit, so very, very effective. I'm gonna say effective or efficient. I made my own word here. You guys witnessed it. That's my word. So these are some of our projects here, highlighted by these different colors and these different names. But it's really, really cool what's going on. How DET works is utilizing DET's exclusive proprietary software, as I mentioned, on their computers and laptops. They have their blockchain of miners, and this stuff is kind of like nerdy. You can read that. I think I do a better job of explaining it myself. So let's skip that part because I kind of went into it. Let's look at some pictures, pretty pictures with lots of color. That tells a story. So up here on the left, you can see right here, it says BGLD. That's black gold. It's a ticker symbol. These are our oil projects. Very, very cool what's going on there. You can see right here, we have 17 wells online right now and 100 more that have been identified that we're just tying up the paperwork on. So this is really cool. So I think we're going to see this on the next page. So I'll go into a little bit more detail there. This is DGLD, our digital link gold. You can see here are some of our 30 people that recently went to Ghana. They got to see like all these things, including our gold mines, where the security guys with AK-47 and stuff. It's no joke. We've tunneled into a place that all you got to do is scrape gold right off the walls in great abundance, 24/7, 365, and we've identified that from our satellite, was able to spot that this area is rich. As a matter of fact, on one of the subsequent slides here, I'm going to show you what that looks like. And I wish we all had open mics because you guys would be going, ooh, ah. All right, looks like we got a great turnout here that I'm checking out. Cool. This is our natural gas situation, which is also very cool because usually where there's oil, there's natural gas. Folks, we are selling natural gas. If you thought you got on here to sell pills, potions, and lotions, and knives that cut through steel, not only that, it can cut through this tomato like it's nothing, right? This ain't the place. We are selling some big boy and big girl stuff here. We're selling natural gas, unlimited quantities. We're selling oil, unlimited quantities. Aluminum, this is going to be crazy when I show it to you. Let's just go to the individual things so you can see a little bit better pictures. So this one in the top left is probably our most iconic picture in the company. Here's Joe Martinez, by the way, the CEO on site. But we went here with about 30 people. This is Nebraska. This is a family that had 80,000 acres of land. How you do that, right? They have 80,000 acres of land in Nebraska for over a century. So I guess they just took it from the Indians, right? But anyhow, but 90 days before this picture, this entire picture looked like this back corner. Just green grass as far as the eye could see, right? And we came to them, and I don't know if you can see really well, this guy here with the funny hat and the khaki shirt, we came to him and said, hey, you have oil on your property. We'll show you where it is, and we'll split the profits with you if we identify it. He says, he said, no, thank you. He just said, you're going to waste your money. He said, no less than 30 people have come here over the last 100 years telling us there's oil. We charge them a certain fee just to even bring all their heavy machines and, cut up their lawn and just drill holes all over the place like some kind of Groundhog Day. And nobody's ever found one drop of oil. So even though we're going to pay him maybe $500,000 or something just for the chance to look, he's like, save your money. It's ridiculous. We're bone dry. But we have that eye in the sky. By the way, just to give you some point of reference, Shells, the BPs, the Exxons, anybody drilling for oil, anything above 1 out of 10 times. If you drill 10 times, and by the way, to drill is a minimum of $3 million and somewhere closer to $5 million every time you drill. So you drill 10 times, you're lucky if you find anything more than once, right? Meaning 9 times out of 10, you've wasted $5 million. That's $45 million in the hole. And if you're lucky, you find oil on the 10th time, right? If you can do that maybe 1.5 times out of 10 or any other kind of algorithm than that, you're doing very well. I can't say with a straight face that we're 100%, but I'm not going to cop to anything less than 90%. If we say there's oil, it's because we see it. We know it's there. You don't have to worry about where to drill. We'll tell you exactly where to drill. We'll tell you exactly how deep to drill, because don't think that hasn't happened either, right? People have thought there was oil somewhere. They drill 5,000 feet down. They find no oil and they move on. They didn't realize the oil was 6,000 feet down. They're not going to just continue drilling. Every day, every minute is costing them money. They're like, if we haven't hit it by now, I guess it ain't here, right? And maybe they just pulled up and walked away. We know when it'll be there. We're like, don't even check when it's at 1,000, not 2,000, not 3, keep going, keep going, keep going, right? And then we hit it more than 9 times out of 10. So this is a disruptive technology. I know it's network marketing, and your broke friend probably brought you on here, probably paid you $20. Just come, listen. There's this crazy guy, Kevin, he'll tell you all about it. And you're like, whatever. You have your screen turned off right now. You're eating Doritos. You're watching sports. You're barely listening to me. You're not taking this seriously. But folks, this is disruption. We want to be like the Uber or the Airbnb of the commodities market. Meaning, you guys have the land, you have the equipment, whatever you guys have, we'll tell you where the oil is. We'll tell you where the gold is. We'll tell you where the aluminum is. Whatever you want to find, we can find it, right? Which saves people probably their biggest cost. It's the exploration. It's the exploration, looking for it, wondering where it is. We've developed a better mousetrap, and we can find as much as we can bear to stand right now. So what we do, you saw the word royalties, is when we help people like this gentleman here find that oil on his land, he didn't know it was there. It's his land. Possession is 9/10 of the law, right? But we sign a contract, and that contract says if we show you where there's oil, no charge to you. But if we find it, you owe us 20% of every drop that you ever sell. And people say yes to this deal all day long, because right now all he had was a whole big patch of land, a big old patch, but he didn't have no oil until we showed up. So it's a win-win situation. We don't have to pay for tractors. We don't have to pay drillers. We don't have to pay new drill bits. We just find it and get our royalties and get out, right? So it's a very, very cool situation for us, and lets us be very light and move around real quickly. Here's and by the way, this setup right here is about $5 million, and I forget how tall this thing is. If anybody knows in the chat, but I think it's like 150 feet or something. This is actually a pretty big onshore setup right here, and you can get a little bit of the scope. These are some of the top people in the business and stuff having a great old time. Look at these numbers right here. This is just a little, drawing or whatever, but that site that you saw, we found 50 million barrels of oil. 50 million, and as I said, 20% is what we're yielding from all that. By the way, that how you know oil works? 24/7, 365. 18-wheel trucks are like lined up back to back to back to back to back to back. How many more backs do I have to say for you to get it? To back to back to back, right? For as far as you can see, and we're pumping and we're sending it all out. And people are paying for that. This company really doesn't need us. And I know that sounds hard to believe. Like, then why are you trying to sell me so hard, huh? Right? We can find oil, we get royalties. I mean, we help accelerate it, and we help do some other things in terms of, and I did ask this question to the owners once. I'm like, if you guys can find oil, like, why do this whole token thing and turn it into crypto, and then, and so on? He's like, Kev, if we do it this way, yes, we'll be billionaires, right? We'll make a few $1 billion just off our royalty. But by turning it into crypto, when crypto has sometimes 100 times multiplier, right? And I'll be honest, if it was me and I could find this oil, I'm good being worth 2.6 billion or whatever, right? But these guys are trying to be worth hundreds of billions of dollars. And that's why they're doing the crypto angle, in case that crossed anybody's mind. And it made sense, especially the way he broke it right down and gave some numbers and stuff to it. These guys have already made hundreds of millions, right? Billion is just the next thing, but you don't want to just go to the next. They want to take a jump all the way to hundreds of billions. And this is the way to do it. Crypto just puts that super multiplier on it. So in Nevada, I'll show you this one because it's kind of interesting. 400 million barrels. We found that. Why are we getting 3.5%? Well, first of all, 3.5% of 400 million barrels of oil is a very nice existence. The reason behind that one, and I'll show you in a second, here's this little graphic talking about we have 17 wells online right now, and we're finalizing 100 more. Once we got those satellites of our own, it was the game changer, right? We did proof of our model with the Google rentals, but now that we have our own, it costs us less than $9,000 a scan, where it used to be $90,000 a scan when we were renting. So, and we can rent those satellites out. People pay a lot for it. So this is our site, our partner site in Nevada. And the reason why we only got 3.5% on this one is because they were drilling here, and for maybe like 20 or 30 years, I forget the number. I don't know if it's in this write-up up here, but for 20 or 30 years, and they were just about, just a couple months away from packing up shop, capping the well, moving on, finding something else, retiring, shutting down shop. So where there's oil, there's usually more oil. So we don't need anybody's permission. We fire up our satellites. We look at the site. Don't you know it that, okay, imagine this, right? A big bowl. Imagine a swimming pool. They had a big swimming pool that lasted 20 years of oil. That swimming pool now is dry. We scan the area and we notice 1,000 feet, just 1,000 feet deeper, if you crack open the bottom of the swimming pool, 1,000 feet down, there's an Olympic-sized swimming pool. And that's where the 400, they didn't know. They had no idea how. The tools that they have don't allow them to know. Our tool did. And so we told them, hey, you want to sign this contract? We'll show you where there's, and we know how much there is to some, we know there's a lot. We maybe didn't know to the exact amount of barrels. We knew there's a whole heap of oil, right? And we said, hey, sign this contract, we'll give you more. And they look at you crazy like, dude, we run these places. What are you talking about? How are you going to help us? And they sign, like, what you got? We tell them, drill some more. It was very inexpensive for them. And they already had everything on site and all the workers, nobody had to do anything. That 400 million barrels is going to last them another 20 years. We just doubled the existence of this company. Company's called Western Oil, as a matter of fact. And actually, some of their members, I don't know if it's a CEO or whoever it is on our council, like on our board of advisors, which is really cool. So right here, we're talking about the oil project. You can read some of that while I take a drink. So this launched on November 1st, 2021. So you're talking about 14 months ago. And look at the price. So here's what's going on. Now, there's a lot of nuance to this. There's another reason I read a disclaimer. I'm oversimplifying this, right? This isn't verbatim. But long story short, for every dollar, right, and there's more to it, but I'm painting a picture. I'm just giving you a quick little synopsis. But we have an oil well that's making, let's say, $1 million a day. We have a 20% royalty on that. So we're making $200,000 a day. And from the $200,000, we're putting that money into the tokens. And you guys have licenses that you purchased, and then it's splitting all the tokens that actually are worth that money out to you guys. And we collect those tokens, and you can hang on to them as assets and wait for them to go even higher, because a lot of people sold them when we had 3 or 4 oil wells. We now have 17. Now, some people are really going to sell. We had a pop. But some people are like, now, wait, you got 100 more coming? Because here's what's mind-blowing. You didn't invest in the Nevada oil well. You didn't invest in the Nebraska oil well. You invested in debt boxes oil wells. So if they find 1,000, you pay no more money. But now, instead of just being part of this, it'd be like if you invested, I don't know if you knew this, Elon Musk was one of the founders of PayPal. Imagine you invested not in PayPal, but in him. Whatever his shares were, he split it with you. But since you invested in him, now that he also owns Tesla, you own some of Tesla. Now that he owns SpaceX, you own some of SpaceX, right? You didn't have to buy shares in all three. Just a little, I just never said that like that before, but that paints a nice little quick picture in my mind. So originally, this is what the value of each token was. And people were getting 45,000 tokens a day. If you bought a license for $1,000, When it started back in November, you're getting 45,000 tokens a day at 0.00001 cent. Currently, it's trading at, well, at some point, this is the high market. It's a little bit down right now, but just a couple months ago, it hit 1.2 cents. You figure that out. 45,000. Somebody put that in the 45,000 tokens a day, and someone multiply it by this much money, 1.2 cents, and then put that number in the chat, please. I've never done that before. I think I did it for the month or something. It worked out to something crazy. These are real numbers, which was 120,000% increase. Here's what's interesting: a little extra sauce for you guys that maybe don't have a guest on, but some of the reps just want to get up to knowledge. Let me drop some game on you, son. Right? Some people sold at this, and we created almost 200 millionaires. But guess what? I said when you go on, or we go on Binance, we're expecting to go up another 2,000%. 2,000% of some of these numbers, maybe even 5,000% more. So the owners of debt, some of the owners and founders of IX, some of the bigger leaders that understand money, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody that had to flip over the tokens that they're getting, especially we have a huge contingency of the company that's from India. They put $250 into a rental. As soon as those tokens are worth 300, 310, whatever, they're cashing them out. They just made, 50, 60, $100. That's money that's going towards their rent, their mortgage, just they need it to live, food, groceries, right? They can't afford to just sit on it for 6 months and wait for it to go up, which is a bit of a shame because the amount it goes up, I think they'd be very, and it happens in North America too, of course, anywhere, right? This isn't just an India situation. But imagine you bought something for $250, it turned into $350, you sold it, but then you find out 8 months later, it's worth, $3,800, right? So a little bit of patience sometimes goes a long way. And again, that situation I just kind of illustrated, that's what I believe. It's not what I can guarantee, but it seems to be what's going to happen. It's what has happened to some. And that's why we just need to be like, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I haven't sold a single coin. I bought a bunch more today, right? We had the prices were going up and whatnot. So anyways, that's just me. I digress. Look at this. A lot of licenses that they sold at that price. Look at the ecosystem. There's 65, and this is the cool thing about the blockchain and stuff. There's 65 unique wallet holders with over $1 million worth of tokens still in it, right? And an average daily volume, wow, of $2 million a day. That's actually gone up a bit since, so that's really crazy. And our largest sales day was $20 million. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm going to just burn through this because I kind of expanded upon some other things. This is just the free app that they give us. Someone was taking snapshots of their daily yields and balances and whatnot. You can see here it was getting all the way up to $19,000, crazy, crazy numbers. So people are definitely doing very well. This is our Grow project, which isn't predicated necessarily on the satellite discovery, although the satellite can determine and identify huge bodies of hidden water, as I said. And by the way, there should be a press release coming very soon. We've just identified the single largest hidden body of water in the United States of America's history. My words, I don't know if this is compliant language or verbatim, but basically we found an underground lake of fresh water that nobody in America ever knew was there. And that's what we did with our satellite technology. We've done the exact same thing in Africa. And we have 25,000 acres of land, and we found the most nutrient-rich soil, and then we found underground water in places that had no irrigation, and they just waited for a little bit of rain each year and tried to make do with that, and we turned into very, very fertile land that is yielding a lot of grains, a lot of crops, a lot of soybeans, hemp, just on and on and on. So much so that they've got, I forget how many distribution centers, and it's just scaling. As a matter of fact, we already have about 3,500 people that we have hired, and that number should hit 10,000 people by the end of the year. That's one of my favorite things to hear and obviously say, right? For people that aren't getting any of the tech stuff, maybe that hits your ears a little different. We need 10,000 people in one country to deal with what we've identified and found, which are all commodities, which is basically money given to us by Mother Nature to collect it. We need 10. One more time for the people in the back. Let me take off my glasses for dramatic effect. Actually, you chew them in the movies. My gosh, we need 10,000 people to help us harvest and harness and collect all the gold and all the aluminum that we have discovered with our satellites. Half the people are leaving this chat. This is just more stats and data. Ghana is completely on fire. Aluminum is a crazy project that we have. This is something else that just happened in the last little while. It's one thing that we had the satellites, and I mean, obviously it's not a beam me up, Scotty, crazy stuff. This is just for illustration purposes. But we also created, I hate to call them nodes. I've got to find the right word, but I think they're nodes. But it's not the kind of nodes that we're talking about. But these are little things about the size of a microwave, and we kind of tap them into the ground, and it makes a crazy, crazy 3D rendering of what we already had that was mind-boggling. The latest iteration is we teamed up with another company, and we use our satellite. Look what it's doing. Do you have any idea? Well, the word's right there. I was going to say, guess what? These are patches of gold underground. How easy is this to go find? This is why we need 10,000 people. This is why we need guards with AK-47s. I know you, I don't know to what degree you can believe what I'm saying. This is gold in the ground in Ghana, Africa. And we know right where it is. It's like playing Super Mario. I'm not going to drive my little car over here or here or here. I'm going to go right here. I'm hitting all this gold, y'all. Right? So there's a little movie. We don't need the movie. This is gold. If you don't believe me, I don't care. We're making money. We're having fun. Enough people will. It's insane. This is the aluminum mine that they've been running here in Ghana for about 15 years. And by the way, the debt box guys have actually been developing relationships here for well over a decade. This just happened by accident. I mean, they didn't have satellites and all this other stuff back then, but if you stick with anything long enough. So this site right here, and you got to understand the scale, right, of the operation, but this site right here is making this mining exploration of aluminum, you know, which makes bauxite, which makes pop cans. These guys, I forget where it is or the context, but they're responsible for 20% of all the pop cans in the blank. It can't be in the world because that's way too much scale, but I think it's like, you know, maybe in that hemisphere or in all of Africa or something big, right? 1.5 million metric tons a year is being yielded from here. And they've been here for 15 years. Guess why you don't see any color here? Because we just told them, I know the date, on November 18th, 2022, we fired up our whirlybird, right? Where there's aluminum, there's probably more aluminum. You know how long it would take you to just go digging around and excavating and try to find if there's more? First of all, they didn't care. They can't keep up with this. But we said, hey, Ghana, you want to sign this contract? They're like, what's on the contract? You give us 20% if we show you there's more bauxite and aluminum? Like, more. First of all, we're the kings of aluminum. We don't need your help. And secondly, how could you show us where there's more? See these circles right here? This is another 3.5 million metric tons, which brings them from 1.5 to 5 million metric tons of bauxite. This is why they need to hire 10,000 people, folks. We are flooding them with work. Lucrative, dirty lucrative work. Gangster lucrative, it's not even a word, but you get the picture. These are the two items that we just launched on the 14th of January. They are both over $100 million. This is beverage, right? So it's called Bev, very intelligent. We sold the license for $1,000. You buy this license, it's yours for life, forever, ever. That's yours, right? What is this all about? Well, we are putting beverage companies on the blockchain. And it's not so much the company, it's the way in which the companies flow and work and the supply chain. You heard that's a big problem right now, especially with cars. My car got stolen in November, and I wanted to go get another one, Toyota 4Runner, and they said, if you pay now, we can't guarantee, but you'd probably have it in about 6 months. I was like, 6 months? You know what I mean? I'm giving you $70,000. I want that now. They're like, yes, sir, there's a long line, and we can't get microchips because of this and that and that and this. And so on, right? Supply chain issues are a real thing. Well, we're putting it on the blockchain. And what we're doing is we're taking small and medium-sized beverage companies, whether it's a coffee company, a juice company, a soda pop company, like cola, or even alcoholic beverages. And we're putting them all together, and we're using all the efficiencies, right? And we're helping them streamline even their delivery process. which is a big shipping and delivery. It's expensive to get all over the place. And so a lot of smaller companies only maybe ship in 3 or 4 states in the United States. Now, as being part of DebtBox and the Bev project, we can get you national, right? So we can get you 10 times more customers and so on. As a matter of fact, they all have product right now, so they're going through that. But their new labels, once they're through their existing inventory, are going to represent our DebtBox logo, which is going to be crazy. In our first week alone of actual sales and bringing companies on board, we secured $36 million worth of contracts. So it's a big, big thing. Has anybody got the price started at 0.001 cent on the 24th? Check this out. Maybe I'll do it at the end. On the 24th of January, can someone put in the chat what it is right now? I said not 1 cent. I said 0.00001 cent just about 10 days ago. Can someone put in the chat what this has gone to already? It's gone absolutely nuclear. Blocks. This one is cool. This is like one of the first ideas for the entire company. Because if you remember, I said my friend Darren knows them from their days of being venture capitalists and raising huge amounts of money for real estate. This is a $500 million real estate portfolio fund, and they're doing like lines of credit, loans, financing, for huge apartment building, anything, right? Even Airbnbs, whatever it is. And we get to own a piece of these guys being massive, massive landlords. And what do we get from that? You buy your license, you buy your perpetual, 1, 2, 10, 100, whatever you can afford. And then these are the licenses. I usually describe them almost like shares, right? It's the most common thing that you would understand that's similar to this. I'm not saying they are shares, but it works in a similar fashion. Imagine they only had 100 licenses, only 100 of these perpetuals, right? That would mean that if you bought 2 of them for $3,000, you would own 2% of, and again, there's some metrics involved in between. It's not that cut and dry. Whatever they collect, you get 2% of that. But in theory, 2% of whatever's yielding paid to you in tokens, which are instantly cashable if you know your way around crypto to turn them into money. So really, really cool. Here's a layout of some of our projects. We launched at this pace now. We're committed to launching 12 projects in 2023. So we've done 2. So we have 10 more to go this year. It's going to be phenomenal, phenomenal. It's about to get really exciting. Here's Black Gold, unfortunately sold out. We did have some rentals, which I don't think we even talked about. Yeah, okay, we're going to talk about it next. We're going to talk about rentals, but here's some of our projects: Digital and Gold, Aluminum, XPLR, Bev, which is our new one, and Blocks, right? Let me try to pick up some of the pace here. For those that can't afford these numbers, and folks, $6,000 does sound like a lot, right? But it's to own a piece of an oil well one time. Like, it's, I think the value is definitely there. And especially when you've seen well over 100 to nearly 200 people already made $1 million in their first year. That's why we got to say past performance isn't guaranteed. I'm not saying if you spend $6,000, you'll also be a millionaire. It's possible. It's been done. It's been done by a lot of people, but it's not a guarantee, right? But again, that was based on smaller numbers. And the fact is, this is going to be a lot more numbers now. That was based on just anywhere from 2 to 7 oil rigs, right? And oil wells. Now we have 17 signed, sealed, and delivered. And we have 100 more that are about to be online. But don't think it stops at 117. Those ones are all getting done up. We're still out there with exploring more and putting more and more online. So that's the magic of that. So some people can't afford that, so they came up with an ingenious idea called rentals, especially because a huge contingency of the company does reside in India. It's just weird, one of those quirky things, right? One of the first people to take our company serious was a guy named Viraj Patel. He happens to live in India, and the people he knows are in India. And right now, the company just hit, actually Monday, yesterday's Monday, we just hit 200,000 people. To some of you, that sounds like a big number. My last 2 companies ago had over 3.5 million people in it by the time I quit, and was growing. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago, right? And it was doing very, very well and did even better since that time. So companies can handle a lot. But here's what I want to say about that. Of those 200,000, about 130 plus thousand are just in India. So there's a lot of people there where the average salary, if you're lucky enough to have a job, is less than $300 a month and closer to $200, right? So they can't afford six or one or what are these numbers? $2,000 here, $2,600 there. They can't afford it. So what we do is for $250, we let them rent one of these nodes, and they get to yield for 60 days all the tokens it produces. So this one here is called NatG. That's our natural gas offering, right? Where there's oil, there's typically natural gas. And that's a byproduct. The cool thing about natural gas is that it's regenerative, meaning as we take it all out, more and more is continuing to come. Right now, that Nebraska site that you guys saw has over 1,800 square acres. You know how you're measuring the volume of natural gas all built up right now, ready to sell, right? But natural gas, we're giving you anywhere from 14,000 to 18,000 tokens a day. This right here is probably one of the big boys for sure, because natural gas is always in demand. I shouldn't delve into politics, but I believe, I'm just speculating, I think this is one of the things that this war in the Ukraine is mostly over. Russia wants more land that the Ukraine has, and a lot of this has to do with, commodities and resources. That's why they want the land. There's lots of land in Russia, right? They don't need it to expand their population. They need the land to make money off the resources, and these are the kind of resources that are available. So just drawing some parallels. I don't mean anything good, bad, or indifferent about that. But so for 60 days, you can get about 18,000 tokens a day. After that time, then someone else can rent it. So it's no different than some of the fancy hotels that some of us stay at. And then, like I was recently in Dubai, I was at the address Skyview, right next to the Burj Khalifa, and it's like 65 stories tall. The top 10 floors or 12 floors are all condos for sale, $1 million to $20 million. But the bottom 50 floors are hotel rooms, right? So the owner makes the money from the condos. They makes enough from that and also the fees and everything else to pay all his bills. And then the money from the rentals is all good money too. So that's the exact same thing the company's doing here. You can rent any of the project, and that makes it easy. You can try before you buy type of thing. So right here, this is going to be one of our next projects. This is launching in the next 2 weeks or so. They said by February 7th. I'm not going to say that, right? But sometime in February. I've been around the block too much, but they seem pretty sure. Sometime in February, my words, is they're going to launch this. We have a deal with MasterCard. We actually have a deal with I forget the name, the Royal Bank of Scotland. You're actually going to get a bank account too if you want it. A real functioning, actually, you can Google them and see how big this project is. But we've done a deal with the two, the bank and MasterCard. And one of the biggest reasons people have a problem with crypto is they have a difficulty turning their cash into crypto. And a similar problem, once they earn, like what would happen if you bought some licenses and for your black gold, your oil, and all of a sudden you had $10,000 worth of tokens? Some people want to wait till that turns into $20,000. Some people are saying, cash me out, I'm good, right? How do you do that? Well, you can add your tokens right here through your back office, and then you just swipe this at Walmart, swipe this at the gas station, swipe this at Home Depot, and get your floors done, whatever you need to do. So it simplifies the very complicated crypto game. I believe we're going to pull a lot of people in solely for this reason. Also, for the builders in the house, think about it. You sign up your next door neighbor and they want to get in and buy a couple nodes for $2,000, but all they have is $2,000 cash. They could transfer that to you, give that to you, or whatever. You can use your paycheck, your funds, some of your tokens, and just swipe or use this credit card number to get them in. Because obviously in crypto, you typically can't use credit cards, right? Because these nodes, the way in which they function, they don't want any chargebacks. You can't buy these with your Visa until now or your MasterCard, right? It has to be crypto in, crypto out. We've just changed the game, folks, and this is going to be very, very exciting. Here's a representation from Business from Home. We have the number one company in terms of momentum right now. Not one of the top, the number one. And you can see our growth trajectories right here, 5 million to 22 million, and last year, $207 million. You can see right here our pace setter, Mr. Viraj Patel, $1.2 million a month, folks, that he's making. What's interesting is when I started in October, I sat with Viraj in Barcelona. When I went there on my own dime to go evaluate, I wanted to take a closer look and talk to some of the people in the business. And Viraj's check was $820,000 in October. And then it went to like $1 million in November. And then last month he just did, it's growing at an incredible rate. And it's not just him. I met Ramesh, and he's making 353. Travis and Summer Flaherty, who you guys, some of you know from some of the videos, he just started in first week of June, I believe. He's already at 251,000 a month, and it's on and on and on. So a lot of people are doing big things. They also do have some Forex training, some signals. They give you some really, really good tips for trading. Some people are just here for the nodes. Get in where you fit in, do what you want. But I just wanted you to know the premise and the foundation of how the company started. Look at these documented returns. 10.69% a month, compounding month over month over month on top of these numbers. So some people really, really like that. It's a great little add-on feature for those that have the time. For those that want to learn the skill set, how to trade, they teach you. We have an academy. And for those that don't want to learn, they just want the answers to the test, we'll give you the answers. And so far, the answers are close to 11% on your money every month. I believe you can get started for as little as $500. And best of all, the money stays in your account. They have no way to even take your money, right? They don't want to, and nor can they. And that also keeps us compliant, whereas a lot of other companies sometimes fall into different regulations. So you set up your account wherever you want with whatever broker you choose with 24/7 access to your funds. We just say, hey, the NASDAQ's going to go up in the next 15 minutes. You might want to put a buy on that. All right. And then 15 minutes later or 16 minutes later, we're like, okay, hit the sell button, get out. You made 2% for the day. That's enough. Shut it down. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. Anyhow, we talked too much about all that. How do you get started? And I bet I had you 15 slides ago, chomping at the bit, ready to throw down and get moving with us, right? So there's really 3 ways to get started. They have 4 here, but I'll say 3. Get it back in touch with the person who thought enough of you to put you on this call and ask them what they suggest, and you guys can work out the best plan for you. But Xnode membership, that's number 1. $10 is all it takes to get you in the system. And from that point on, just buy at least a rental, right? Rentals start at $250. So you can do that right there. And if you want to be passive, some people just want to buy one time and move on, right? Hey, Kev, I got $5, $10, $18,000. I want to put it somewhere that it can grow and help hedge against inflation, or give me something for my 50th birthday that's coming up in 9 months or whatever, right? They could just literally just do that. Buy $10, almost like a Costco membership, right? You don't even want the year membership. You want the 1 month membership. You buy that, and then you can go shopping and pick up as many nodes as you like. Rentals or perpetuals, it just doesn't matter. Secondary to that, I'm going to skip over this one because I don't really understand it, even as the presenter, but there's a $50 option that's very big in Latin America. They have the basic, which is $115. You got obviously a lot more things here. Take a picture of this so you can look at it a little bit later and read through what you like or don't like. But, you know, people just, nodes alone, people are excited. And then the one that I did, which is the pro membership. Give it all to me, man. Just for $145, that's really, really cool. And I'll show you a way in which that you can, make this all go away. And that's called the apprentice bonus, right? There's a little bit of a comp plan now. Here's what's really funny. I'm a comp plan guy. I won't sell a product that I don't like and that I don't trust or believe in. But as long as I know it's a good product and people can get value from it, then I'm like, okay, how do we make money and how do we help other people make money? And as you can see from this call, which will be over in less than 5 minutes, I spent the entirety of this call talking solely about the product. I mean, it just so happened that the product makes you money, which makes it even easier, but that's how much I love the product, and the money will just flow. But for the people that are here for the money, let me just show you how it works, right? You make $100 if you can sign up 3 customers at either a basic level or above, right? This one says 3 pro packs, but it could have been basic, pro, doesn't matter. For each one that you sign up, you make $15 a month from that customer, which is $45. And for having 3 customers, every 28 days, you get a $100 bonus, which is $145, as you see, which is really intelligent because you saw this right here. So I call it a 3 for free. That's probably non-compliant. You shouldn't repeat it, but it's just a little, I've been in companies where if you have 3 customers, you don't get charged. Well, what this one does, if you have 3 customers, you make back typically, the same amount. You make $145 a month minimum. Now, here's really cool. I'm not going to get too much into these, but we have something called rank bonuses. And I freaked out when I saw this. Look, however you want to build your comp plan, I'm the kind of person that's going to figure it out. I'm the documented fastest person to the top of 4 different comp plans. As a matter of fact, even in IX Global, I hit the position called Global Ambassador, they said faster than anybody else ever, which was less than 60 days, right? I mean, there's some more to go to, but these ones are crazy. I mean, there's less than 20 global ambassadors out of 200,000 people. It's significant and consistent with my brand. So I could figure it out. But what I like about this comp plan is these rank bonuses, I call them salary, which again is non-compliant, right? It's not a paycheck, but it acts just the same. They give it to you weekly, and I love that there's no hoops to jump through to get it. If you have this much volume, you get this much money. If you're a builder, you make $87 a week. Let's call it 90 for some easy math here this late in the day. That's $360 a month. Producer, you make $200 a week, which is $800 a month. Executive producer, $500 a week, which is $2,000 a month. And when you see what you need to do to hit these ranks, it's ridiculous. All right, so you have your 3 people from before. You don't need any particular structure like it's drawing out here, but these weekly bonuses really add up. One of the reasons that the Indian team or the team in India is doing so well is they just focused on this little graphic. Again, you don't need to do like this, but they're just like, find 3 customers and help each of your customers find 3 customers. What's the significance of this? Well, you're making $500 a month, right? $360 for all these added up, and then the $145 for the apprentice bonus. You're making $500 a month, and all you did was find 3 customers, and then you taught your 3 customers to find 3 customers. What I love about this comp plan is you don't even need your 3 customers to find 3 customers, because the entire comp plan is predicated on volume. So what do I mean by that? Well, on our team, the average person is worth 291 points. This diagram is assuming that everyone's only worth 80 points. So for me, I can find 3 customers that are worth as much as 4 customers, right? And that automatically would make me a builder when I started, and so on. And it's done that for many, many other people on our team. I'm not saying me. I'm just talking from the perspective of what I've seen, right? And it's duplicating. That's what's exciting. So let's look at this. And again, we're just 2 minutes away now. This is a little bit more detail. That was kind of the graphic. These are the same ranks. This is all you need to look at right here for what you need to do. And to get to be a, let's say, a producer, you need to have 3,600 points. And that's where I was telling you that each person on our team right now is worth about 300 points. So that's 10 people on your team. You find 3 who either find or build an entire team that's about 10 or 11 or 12 people. Now, the company gives you some numbers here. This is an asterisk. That means you don't really need this. They're just, if everybody was only doing 80 points, every customer, then this is how many people you would need. Like, for instance, this is something that I know for sure. Global ambassador, they say to do 500,000 in volume, you need, right, as an illustration, 5,500 people. Well, when we hit global ambassador on our team here, together, we all did it with 1,800 people. So we weren't even over 2,000 people collectively, and we did this. So this is really cool. So this is kind of, for people that don't understand volume, they use this as a point of reference. But at the end of the day, it's just volume. I mean, you can't have everybody on one leg, of course. The company will go bankrupt. You need anywhere from 2 to 3 legs usually. But these numbers are relatively small. I'll stop at this one right here, influencer. If your entire team can do $25,000 or points per month, right? Then you would make, where is it? Oh, here we go. Rank bonus, so weekly rank bonus, right? So 25,000 a month would make you an influencer, and that's $1,000 a week. There's 52 weeks in a year, folks. This is $52,000 a year for 25,000 in sales. Again, I'll just give you a point of reference. I'm not bragging. I'm not whatever. You know, our team collectively, which includes the people that invited you to this call, last month we did 700,000 points, right? And the only reason I mentioned that is like, if we can do 700,000, then can you do any of these other numbers? And you don't need to do it in your first month, your second month, however long it takes you. The cool thing is, as you grow incrementally, right? Or how you're going to get these results, and you're always going to get some type of weekly paycheck as long as you meet the basic criteria that we have. And here's the last piece. 4 people is all you need to make it even to the highest level. 2 on your left, 2 on your right. If you don't know what that means, it's very simple, very straightforward, and you're going to do very well. So 4 people is the only requirement. and good things are in store for you. So with that being said, you can get paid with a bank deposit, get paid on PayPal, you can get paid in USDT, which are digital US dollars, basically, right? The equivalent. I love this because a dollar is a dollar is a dollar. You determine it, and that's really, really cool. And that's pretty much it. You just got to figure out right now, do you consider yourself a one, two, or three? One, you're ready to become a client. Two, you have a little free time and you want to generate some extra income, so you can do that with the services. And three, I want to be a client and also an IX ambassador to receive all the different benefits that you can get. The choice is really, really yours. It's very, very exciting business right now. And that is pretty much it for me. Perhaps I'll open it up for just one or two quick testimonials and we'll have you guys out of here in 3 minutes after three people say something for a minute each. So raise your hand if you have something that you want to share really quickly with the people, and let's get them out of here. I pretty much stuck to my hour. It's brand new, so sorry. I embellished a little bit on some of the stuff and gave you a little extra deep dive to understand. That was my first time seeing it. We did have 8 new slides. Some of you might not have caught the difference, but we're having fun. Scott's got his hand up. Well, my good buddy Scott out of Chicago. Scott, tell us what you want to share, whether it's product testimonial or business as well, which you've done both well with both.
So I'm out on a run right now, training for the Chicago Marathon, which is going to require pushing through some pain. And listen, this is an amazing opportunity. And something just kind of hit me as I was running along. Think about all the successful people that are out there. The difference between them and you might be that they were just willing to push through more pain. They were just willing to go, literally, and feel it going. I got back to meetings. It's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night right now. The run's got to happen. It's a non-negotiable. We have something that we have our hands on that I don't even think any of us can fully fathom how huge this is going to be because we don't have a crystal ball. But if you look at the track record of what's there, it's amazing. I'm a huge believer on the nodes. I'm the node nerd. And the satellite technology is remarkable. But look at the business-minded nature of this. That they're getting into beverages, that they're getting into real estate, that they found a way to have a whole bunch of us win. And I love it. I'll leave it at that. Amp up your willingness to push through some discomfort. And please, I'm running this marathon for melanoma awareness because I'm a stage 3 cancer killer. Please go get your skin checked. Peace out.
Awesome. There you go. There you go. You even got a health tip mixed in. And talk about, look, some people say they didn't have time to get on tonight and stuff. This guy's out training for a marathon, and we're entertaining him. He's one of the top leaders on our team, but he's still soaking in the information so he can basically sharpen his axe, right? He wants to know more. He wants to get it down smoother. Speaking of knowing more, we have a girl on here that knows it all. She's been here half the time, but's got double the results of most of us. Arlisha, do you mind saying a little something? We always like to feel your energy. I'm sure you're super positive and ready to roll, even though you're probably beating your kids and chasing them around the house.
Well, I can tell you right now, I'm definitely ready to share and excited about this opportunity and cannot get enough of your trainings and your calls. Like he said, I've been here since December, but oh my goodness, have we found a jewel in this opportunity. I've been in this industry since 2016. I've had some good runs, but I've had some bad runs. I've learned a lot. In doing so, I told myself, I have to make sure my next move has to be my best move. And I believe with every fiber of my being that this is the best move ever for you all that are skeptical, that are nervous, that have been through some things in this industry. If you have a little bit, a glimpse of faith, just a little bit, I would advise you to step out one last time for this one. I mean, goodness, as he stated, you can get started for as little as $130 on the IX education side. On the node side, $275. Ladies and gentlemen, that could potentially change your life. It's actually changing my life and changing so many people's lives around me. I've been able to meet some amazing people already, and I'm just so excited about what this is doing. This is not just a regular opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. This is not life changing. This is world changing. I'm going to say it again. This is a world changing movement. Okay. And we are moving and grooving. We're going all the way with this one. And I encourage you, get back to the person that invited you. Lock arms with us. We're going with this. This one, whoo, ladies and gentlemen, I have my 3 children, 16, 13, and 9. And I can tell you right now, I am creating generational wealth with this one. I'm going to build and leave a legacy for them. So again, thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate you for allowing me to speak. And all of you amazing people on this call, give back to the person that invited you. Don't miss this. Don't miss it. Thank you so much and have a good night.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Hey, really quick, Mark, I see you're unmuted. I don't know if you just didn't mute in the first place or if you want to break out of your shell and just share why you're so excited and always showing up with big smiles on your face, ready to make some dollar bills.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, you did a great job. Thank you so much. What excites me about this, when we look at the whole world of business, this is based upon the world's greatest commodities, the precious resources of the earth. So if people are looking for something to build a solid foundation on, and global demands that are the most massive and intense for those precious resources that we're involved with here with this company. So this is a business model like I've never seen before, when you can monetize tokens and then not only profit from these massive global demand markets, but then also with the forced appreciation of burning those coins that are not in use and driving up the value of those currencies that are in use, those tokens. This to me is the most amazing business model I have ever seen, Kevin, and I am excited. So thank you.
Okay, I didn't want to have any background noise while you were talking. Thank you for sharing. Great message there for sure. And let's just wrap it up and call it a, well, let me do one more thing. Bitcoin Mansa. And by the way, Arlisha, you have 2 new people in Dubai on your team, and they bought perpetual nodes. So that's what I like about the business. You just gave us a name and phone number. I had a friend that was flying there for some other business. My friend talked to your friend talked to a new friend. You have 2 new people paid, signed, sealed, and delivered in the business. So I know you were global already, but now you can check off the flag of United Arab Emirates on your team, and they're coming in heavy and they want to do big things. So, and I'll be back out there in 3 weeks. So I'll be working with them by the end of February, making you some more money, because teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. The best team player you are, Kevin. Thank you so much.
Cool. Massa Jamel, if you're around and you want to say hello real quick, feel free, because I know you're making big things happen. And you're actually the person we're responsible for bringing this fantastic light, our Alicia Jones, to the table. So that means you also have new people in Dubai as well, but you might be doing something else. So in 3, 2, 1, I'm going to shut it down and let people kind of get back in touch with whoever got them started, get their questions answered. We'll be doing this exact call again. Well, never the exact with me. I barely follow the script, as you can tell. But I will be back on the mic in 48 hours on Thursday night at this time. We do have some daytime calls as well. I believe someone put in the chat the schedule that we have, including the schedule of the company. And maybe last but not least, if anybody could very quickly throw in the chat the Telegram group, so people can ask their questions there and stuff, that would be fantastic. And they could get some more questions answered and kind of feel the pulse of what's going on. But that's pretty much it, folks. I'm super excited. Big things are happening. The only thing that's ever upset me with this business is 1 out of every 10 people, nobody that I talk to, when I'm doing a 3-way and someone brings somebody, they say, oh, I heard of a business, lots of companies like this. I'm like, lots of companies? What, other companies that have 4 rockets or satellites launched into space by SpaceX and Elon Musk? and that have 17 oil wells with 100 more coming, and you can own a profit of those oil wells for life? Where's the link to that? I'm all about it, buddy. Like, well, not like that, but I heard of tokens before. Like, oh, okay. Well, me too. If all you heard was tokens, I don't know what to tell you. But this is just truly, truly special, and it's a disruptor. We're a category creator. That's why I got excited about this business. It's doing something new, and it's a secret. Don't let 200,000 people see. That is not a big number, especially when 75% of them are isolated to one country. It's not even a big number for India. India's a billion people strong. But just understand the entire world has 60,000 people. That's a joke, and it's getting ready to explode. I want it to explode somewhere within your profit center, within your genealogy. And hey, if you're just here to just make some passive income with the crypto, then welcome aboard for that too, because you don't need to ever get on another Zoom. You don't need to ever go to a meeting or learn the comp plan. You can just kind of get in where you fit in. There's all different types of people that are attracted to this opportunity, and that's another thing that makes it so truly dynamic. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the group. I see the Telegram's been posted. Thank you to whoever did that. And this call is officially over. I'll see you guys